I'm Mega Mike the Movie Man, and today I have a mega movie plan. Today, I'm back with another Mega Movie News Roundup episode for you all. This is a segment on the channel where I cover the 5 most important movie news stories to come out this week, saving the most important one for the very end of the show, which is Sam Raimi being forced to make changes by Marvel for Doctor Strange 2. Isn't this movie already almost here? So stick around to the very end for that story. Also, if I forget to cover any movie news, just go ahead and email me at megamikethemovieman@gmail.com. Let me know your name and the movie news story you'd like featured in a future movie news episode. But without further ado, let's get started. Now to get into our first mega movie news story, and we gotta talk about the possibility of the Batgirl movie going theatrical. So this is brought to us by MovieWeb. Let me go ahead and bring up this article. Headline reads, Batgirl reportedly being considered for theatrical release instead of straight-to streaming debut. Earlier, the studio shifted Blue Beetle on its theatrical release date from the straight to HBO Max debut as it was earlier planned. So you can see that Warner Brothers is making some shifts here. This is probably due to the Discovery merger and basically different leadership being in charge now. So they're now considering Batgirl to go to the theaters. So let's take a little bit more of a look at this article, and let's see. It says, as the corporate structure of Warner Brothers Studio changes, the new hierarchy and the management is making some changes to its most crucial film unit, DC Films, and that includes the projects lined up for the ongoing DC Extended Universe, an attempt from DC to create a Marvel-like live-action cinematic universe of interconnected stories featured in both films and television series. Of course, they want to do what Marvel's doing because Marvel has been very successful. In context to the recent merger, WB executive Tommy Emmerich is considering Batgirl for a theatrical release after the new CEO David Zaslav takes over the studio. Puck reports, Batgirl was earlier supposed to be an HBO Max original film set in the DCEU, along with another entry within the franchise, Blue Beetle. So it looks like we are probably going to get Batgirl theatrical, and to me this makes sense. You gotta release this movie theatrical because you're gonna make more money. It's just common sense at this point. They've showed this before where the movies that have been released day to day straight to streaming have not been doing as well. So the strategy here is, let's release the movie first to the theaters, get that money at the box office up front. Then, when it gets released later on streaming, it will actually do better on streaming because now you got the good word of mouth, the positive reception from people going to see it at the theaters, and so then more people will want to actually stream it. So it works good for the streaming platform as well, and also, once again, you get that big chunk of change from the box office. And they saw how well Batman did at the box office. I mean, Batman made over $700 million. I mean, that's excellent. So Batgirl, do I think will do as good as Batman? No, probably not, right? I mean, Batman is one of the most recognizable hero characters. Of course, Batman is going to do a lot better than most hero characters, but Batgirl does have a connection to Batman still, so I still think a lot of people will go to see Batgirl. Not as much, but I think people will go out to see this one. Now, is it going to be getting close to 700 million? Once again, probably not. Is it even going to get to maybe 500 million? I think that would be a great day for Batgirl to get to that level. Do I even think it will do that? Not too sure. But do I think this movie could get to 300 million? Definitely. I think it could get anywhere 300 million up to 500 million. I think that is definitely a strong possibility of Batgirl. Once again, because it's still a little bit connected to the Batman. It has that connection, so you got Bat in the name, so people may want to see that. And people enjoyed the Batman movie, so why not check out a Batgirl movie? Also, you got Michael Keaton returning as Batman in this Batgirl movie. That's the part I'm most intrigued by and most excited for. Michael Keaton's an awesome actor, very talented, and to see him back as Batman, this is going to be a great experience. So that's what's drawing me to the movie right there. Michael Keaton, you know I'm going to show up for that. Also, you got Brendan Fraser playing Firefly, the villain in this movie, woo, we haven't seen him in too many movies in quite some time. So to see this, I mean, wow, two awesome actors on screen together. I'm really excited for this. And once again, I didn't even talk about Batgirl, but these other characters are really pulling me in to go see this movie. So what we've seen from the set photos so far have looked good in my opinion. And so I'm ready for this movie, and it makes sense that, hey, this new leadership at Warner Brothers now, because once again, it's Warner Brothers merger with Discovery. So now this new leadership in charge wants to make as much money as possible. Gotta get this movie released theatrical, even though originally it was planned to go straight to HBO Max. But maybe they're seeing such good things from the production of this movie. Just, oh wow, this movie is turning out really great. This is a good sign. So maybe we're getting even a better quality movie than we were expecting. So that's why they're probably pushing it now to theatrical. So I'm excited for this movie. I'm also excited for the Blue Beetle movie that's in the works. I mean, come on, any DC movie, you know, I'm hyped for it. Let's build this DC extended universe right. Let's get these characters going. So let me know in the comments below. Are you excited for a Batgirl movie? Are you happy that it's now probably going to be pushed to going theatrical? And are you going to go out to the theater to see this one? Or do you think it should have just gone straight to HBO Max? Let me know that in the comments below. Now to get into our second mega movie news topic, and apparently Bill Murray is in some trouble. So let's take a look at this article. This is brought to us by Deadline, and the headline reads, "Being Mortal, production suspended due to complaint against Bill Murray for inappropriate behavior." Wow. Okay, let's look a little bit more at this article, see if we can get some other details. So it says, exclusive. Following the news that production was suspended on the Searchlight film Being Mortal, sources tell Deadline the suspension had to do with a complaint made against star Bill Murray for inappropriate behavior. It is unknown at this time what Murray's involvement in the project will be going forward as the investigation remains active. Insiders add that Aziz Ansari, who is starring, writing, and making his directorial debut on the film alongside his partner Uri Henley, was not part of the complaint, nor was co-star Seth Rogen. So it's not giving us a lot of details here. Of course, the investigation is still going on, so we probably won't have a lot more of the information until the investigation is over. Then they'll probably release a statement and we'll get some more of those details. But let's look at what we know for now. So we know production was suspended. So we know that this situation had to be serious enough for production to say, hey, we got to get this suspended. We got to put a pause on this. We got to put a halt on this right now. And I mean, that is kind of serious because it is expensive to create a movie. And every second, every minute on set costs a lot of money. And so if something has to be suspended, that's going to cost them more money. And so, you know, it's at least serious enough to look into, to do this investigation. So it doesn't say once again what the inappropriate behavior was. So we have no idea. I mean, inappropriate behavior could mean a million different things out there. Some less serious, some more extreme. So really, we just have no idea what this inappropriate behavior means. But we know there was a complaint made. And so the studio is looking into this. And I think it's a good thing for the studio to actually look into this now, rather than wait for the project to be finished and then they find out it was quite serious and that, oh wow, we should have looked into this right away, because that could be worse for more people involved going forward, and even worse for the studio if they get that bad reputation of not taking these complaints serious. So I think it's good for them to put a pause right now in production, just like they did. Just kind of look into it, investigate a little bit more, and then they'll find out what's really going on. Maybe it isn't anything. Maybe they get to a conclusion that, hey, we looked into it, didn't find anything, and they're all good to go, move on with production, and Bill Murray still in the film. But maybe they look into it and do find something, and they're like, okay, well, Bill Murray, we're going to have to remove you from this project. We're going to have to get another talent in here, a new actor, refilm some scenes. And they might have to do that. Now, once again, that's going to be very costly as well. But for reputation's sake, they may have to do that. if they, of course, find something. Once again, inappropriate behavior could mean a million different things. So maybe it doesn't mean too much and they're all good to go. Or maybe it does mean something after the investigation and then they have to readjust. So it's just kind of surprising that this happened. I'm just kind of in shock that, oh, wow. Because once again, for production to be suspended, very costly. It means that at least the complaint part of it was pretty serious, even though who knows what they do find out. And this is really unfortunate just for everybody involved, especially this director here, as is, and sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name there, but is starring, writing, and making his directorial debut for this film. I mean, I just feel bad for this person here who, has a chance at this big project here that, probably they've been waiting a long time to get a project like this. And then this happens. I mean, it's like, oh my goodness, like your first day on the job, something happens and it's just like, oh, why? So I do feel bad for that director, of course, and of course, everybody else involved on this project. And I really just hope that this thing gets settled, figured out correctly, process is followed, everybody's due diligence is taken care of, they figure out the issue, they get it taken care of in the best way possible so they can move forward with this production. Just because, once again, a lot of people are involved in this movie, a lot of people's reputation are at stake. So I think it is better for them to look into it right now to get it taken care of, because it could be worse later on for everybody involved. So it's probably better to get this cleared up. I mean, even for Bill Murray, maybe it gets cleared up right away. Nothing was found. And so it was better for them to do this right away. So I think it just works out for everybody in the long run, getting this taken care of. But let me know in the comments below, have you heard of other projects being suspended for complaints like this? Because this is the first one that I'm reading about, but I'm sure there's been things like this before in the past. Let me know of any other productions where this situation has happened before. And so we can have that discussion down below. But of course, you know what? We don't know too much about the situation. So a lot of these details we're not going to be able to talk about yet until we actually figure out what did happen. Now to get into our third mega movie news topic, and we got to talk about the Spider-Verse movie being delayed. So let's bring up this article from Collider here. It says Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse won't be swinging into theaters until 2023 as Sony faces major delays. Hopefully Sony is sending out tissues across the Spider-Verse. That's a pretty funny line there. Because I know a lot of people are really hyped for this movie. People have been waiting for this one. So let's try to read a little bit more detail, see if we can get any more information. So Sony has been hard at work expanding their Spider-Verse after the massive success of Spider-Man No Way Home. Morbius finally released earlier this month, and both Kraven the Hunter and Madam Web are on the way next year. However, what every Spidey fan has been waiting for later this year was a highly anticipated sequel to the 2018 animated hit Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. Remember, this movie is going to have 2 parts to it. However, Sony has now announced that Across the Spider-Verse has been bitten by the delay bug. Across the Spider-Verse has been officially pushed back 8 months from October 7, 2022 to June 2nd, 2023. The film has also dropped Part 1 from its title. Okay, now that's kind of interesting. Now, I wonder why they dropped Part 1. Along with this delay, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 2 has been moved to March 29, 2024. So I am pretty curious of why they dropped Part 1, if they're still doing a Part 2, and is Part 2 still going to keep Part 2 in the title? That's a little odd to me. I don't know why you wouldn't keep Part 1 how it is. That doesn't make sense to me. I wonder if they're worried if they may not have a Part 2, and maybe because they feel like if they say Part 1, now they're promising that they absolutely have this movie, and maybe they don't know if it will do as well as maybe they're hoping, and so they just want a backup plan in case they can't make a Part 2. That's my guess. That's my best guess, but I mean, if you have a different reasoning for that down below, definitely let me know in the comments. So, wow. I mean, I'm hyped for the Spider-Verse movie. The first Spider-Verse movie was such a big surprise to me. I wasn't expecting anything out of it. I'm usually not a massive animation fan. Yeah, there's some animated movies out there I do enjoy, but for a lot of them, I'm usually like, you know what? That was okay. But this movie was a movie I was very impressed by. One of my favorite movies of the year. I mean, Into the Spider-Verse. That first movie was just so good. Such great character development, a lot of heart to the story, very entertaining, action-packed, awesome laugh out loud moments. I mean, the movie really had everything. So to me, it took animation up another level. So I'm really excited for this sequel. Now, why do I think it's being delayed? Because, 8 months, that's pretty significant of a delay. It's not like 1 month or 2 months, 8 months. Okay. Well, I think it's because that Sony just got a little bit too ambitious right away with this movie. Because make no mistake about it, animated movies are really tough to make. They actually take quite some time. To me, I actually think animated movies take more time than live action movies. From what I've been looking into recently, animated movies can actually take years. I mean, 3 years, 4 years, sometimes even more. And so that makes sense. Even though, Sony wants this movie to come out, it takes time to do all this animation work. So that's what I think the delay is about. I think they got a little too ambitious, a little too excited. They thought they were going to be able to release this movie, but no, unfortunately, due to different factors, they had to delay this one. And COVID could be another factor where COVID kind of delayed a lot of movie projects as well. So, you know what? Maybe not as many people were working on the animation for this project as I would initially think. Yeah, they could have been animators working on this one from home, but there has to be some kind of reason for delay here. So I think it's probably a combination of just Sony getting a little too ambitious, thinking they could get this movie out sooner than what was actually realistic from the beginning. And then also I think it's probably other movie projects getting delayed as well, taking up other people's time. And it just kind of got pushed back for that reason. Because we've been seeing tons of movies getting pushed back, especially these superhero movies, these bigger blockbuster kind of movies, event movies. They've been really getting pushed back lately. So I just think it's due to that. I don't think there's like a major issue going on with the movie or something came up and they're like, oh, we got to change something in the story or this is just completely not working. We have to just eliminate it and start from scratch again. I don't think it's anything like that. I think it's just a little too much ambition, and then, you know what, just everything's getting delayed, so this is just getting delayed as well. That's my thoughts anyway on this, but I'm super excited for this movie. I want it to come out. If it can be as good as that first one, I'd be so happy. Hey, imagine if it's even better than that first one. Oh my goodness, I'd be so excited about it. So hey, if you have not yet seen that first Spider-Verse movie, even if you're not an animation fan, I can be pretty confident in saying you'll at least get something out of the movie and you'll at least enjoy some of it. Once again, even if you're not an animation fan, if you have not yet seen that first Spider-Verse movie, I would highly recommend checking it out because I'm telling you, it's a really good quality movie just for a movie, not even just considering it being animated. So once again, I'm excited for this movie and I hope that it does now come out on this new release date because I just want to see this movie so bad. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this delay that happened with the movie? What do you think are some of the reasons for the delays? Also, are you excited for the Spider-Verse sequel movie? I know I am, but let me know how excited are you for this one down below. Now to get into our fourth mega movie news topic, and we got to talk about some fourth movies coming out. So we got a couple here that showed off some promo posters at CinemaCon. Once again, CinemaCon is going on right now this week. Basically, big announcements for theater owners, and basically it's a fun convention for theater owners to really get to see some movies these studios are showing off. I so wish I could go to CinemaCon. Make it happen, somebody, one day. But let's look at these promos we got for some of these movies. So we got John Wick Chapter 4, and I'll put up the poster right here that you could see that's being shown off there. Ooh, okay, I'm so excited for John Wick Chapter 4. To me, this is a very consistent franchise. To me, all the John Wick movies so far, all three of them, have been good quality. Now, John Wick Chapter 3 was my favorite because I thought the action just got so bonkers in there, and there's so much consistent action and different action scenes I've never seen before. I mean, just the library scene with the book, I mean, like, how creative was that? So I'm super excited. If they can keep it that level or even take it up a notch for John Wick Chapter 4, I'm really excited about that. Now, we can't see too much in this poster. We see a lot of orange and green, so I wonder if they're going with that color scheme for the movie, if that's going to be a lot of the tone and lighting within the movie. But you really just are seeing Keanu Reeves there as John Wick. I mean, so not too much to this promo poster itself, but it's still cool just to see, hey, John Wick Chapter 4 is going to be coming out here not too far away. And once again, I think this is a fun franchise. I enjoy this like action kung fu kind of movies, just really fun, just movies that are popcorn movies. Movies you can kind of turn your brain off and just really enjoy. And also the lore that the John Wick movies have been setting up with the continental aspects of it all, that to me has been quite fascinating as well. So to be able to include that with the action element, I think it's really entertaining and intriguing. So I'm excited for John Wick Chapter 4. I hope they can keep it up. So hopefully, you know, they keep the consistent quality going. Hopefully we get good John Wick movies. Next, we have a second promo here, which is going to be for Expendables 4. Yes, we got another Expendables movie on the way. Now, I haven't been the biggest Expendables fan. To me, the Expendable movies were actually pretty forgettable. Once again, I'm not like a huge, massive action fan either. There are action movies I enjoy, trust me, there definitely are ones. But when you go just straight up action, you gotta have a little bit something more for the movie for that, like some heart to it or just some action I haven't really seen before. But the Expendable movies to me were just kind of generic action, even though a lot of great actors and they're awesome talent, absolutely all-star cast. To me, they just haven't really done it for me yet. So to see this poster here, and oh my goodness, this is just ridiculous. They'll die when they're dead. Like, duh. Like, I mean, you don't need a genius to come up with that saying. So I think that's a little odd. They'll die when they're dead. Water is wet. Okay, alright. Somebody else come up with something better for a new poster tagline with that. Please, come on, studio, if you're listening. Let's do something a little bit better, something a little bit more creative. But you get to see a lot of the cast members there. Of course, you got a lot of returning characters, and I believe you even get some new characters in here as well. I'm taking a closer look at this one. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, once again, we have a lot of characters here that I'm familiar with the names. But yeah, I don't think anything too shocking on there. Maybe you all can see something that I'm not seeing where it like really gets you excited and surprises you. Yeah, definitely let me know if I'm missing something there. I do like kind of the light blue orange color scheme to this one, some red in there. I think that's a good color scheme. So once again, I don't know if that color scheme or tone will play into the movie at all, but okay. You know what? What I should do is I should definitely pick up those Expendable movies that I showed on my other video, how physical media can save you money. I'll link that video in the description below, where it showed on Best Buy. There's actually a trilogy set of those movies for, I think it was like, what, $7 or something? Hey, not a bad deal. So maybe what I should do, pick that up, do a marathon of all 3 Expendable movies, and that way I'm prepped for Expendables 4. You know what? Maybe I will do that. Can even make a little ranking list out of all those movies as well. That'd be kind of fun. So actually, I might go ahead and do that. But let me know in the comments below. Pick a side. Which one are you more excited for? John Wick Chapter 4 or Expendables 4? Let me know which one would you go with down below. Now to get into our 5th and final and most important movie news topic of the week. Apparently we got some Doctor Strange 2 reshoots being forced. Okay, well let's look a little bit more into this. This article is brought to us by Giant Freaking Robot. So our headline reads, Doctor Strange 2 reshoots confirmed to be forced on director by Marvel. Once again, the director for this movie is Sam Raimi. He did the Spider-Man movies, the ones with Tobey Maguire. Also, he directed Darkman, which was another superhero movie before that. Most people don't know about that one. But yeah, let's take a look at what else this article has to say. So it says actor Bruce Campbell. Remember, he was the actor from the Evil Dead movies, and he always cameos in Sam Raimi's movies, because I believe they're pretty close. So actor Bruce Campbell has shed some light on the reported reshoots for Marvel's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and it confirms that production may have been in more trouble than initially thought. In a video interview with Game Informer, Campbell confirmed that Marvel Studios itself demanded some of the reshoots, and also revealed that the plot changed so significantly that some scenes may be ditched entirely. The interview is confirmation that Marvel Studios may not have been happy with the legendary director Sam Raimi's initial take on Doctor Strange 2. Rumors have persisted for months that there were problems during production. When reshoots were announced for Doctor Strange 2, fans speculated that the film was in serious trouble. Bruce Campbell, who appears to be confirming that he did work on the film, also seemingly confirmed the studio wanted Sam Raimi to make changes. He stated, Sam Raimi has had to add scenes that Marvel Studios told him he had to shoot, and he's removed scenes that no longer apply. So until May rolls around, I don't think Benedict Cumberbatch even knows if he's in the movie or not. Now that's a pretty funny line at the end there. Of course we know Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be in the movie. He's the actor playing Doctor Strange, but it's kind of a funny statement for Campbell to make there. Now, what do I think about this? Well, to me, this does make sense. Reason why is because Marvel always does this, right? Is this something new? I think some people are thinking like, oh, this is something new and shocking. We've never seen a studio interfere in a movie before. No, Marvel does this all the time. Remember, the great Kevin Feige has to oversee all these movies and make sure these movies all interconnect with one another. The storylines match up. That way they have their Marvel Cinematic Universe. If they don't do that, then the Marvel Cinematic Universe could crumble, not make much sense, and that would be bad for other movies going forward and the cinematic universe overall. So, no, it makes sense. Yeah, sometimes studios do have to interfere with movies. Now, I know a lot of people don't like when people say that, like, no, the director is the auteur. He must make his vision, the full vision. No one must interfere. Well, you know what? It's the studio's money. So, hey, if the studio is trying to build this cinematic universe, they have to ensure that that happens. To a certain extent, of course. You know what? There's more interference than other interference. So I'm hoping that this interference is really just about making sure these movies are connecting properly. So movies that will come out after Doctor Strange 2 line up correctly. So it does make sense for certain things that need to be refilmed or certain scenes to be taken out. I mean, that's how a movie's made. I mean, editing is a major process for any movie being actually made. I mean, that's really where the movie is created. It's not really just the filming. It's more so, how is this movie put together? How is it edited together? How is this story being told here through what's left in the movie? So to me, I don't think this is a big deal, even though it does seem like it's kind of close and they're still, shifting some things around. That may be a little concerning, but overall, knowing that they are doing this, I don't think this is really a major concern. And I think most directors probably going to work to make a Marvel movie, they probably know that, hey, we're going to have to take Kevin Feige's leadership, we're going to have to take input from the studio, we're going to have to make the movie they need for their cinematic universe. I think at this point, this is nothing new. I think directors are probably expecting this, so I hope Sam Raimi isn't too upset by this. Once again, we're not seeing any comments here from Sam Raimi. Once again, this was just from Bruce Campbell, who I guess is confirmed for the movie, who's going to be in some kind of cameo. Can't wait to see what kind of cameo that is. That should actually be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. I think that Sam Raimi probably knew this was going to happen in some way, shape, or form. And I'm hoping that the movie is better with these changes being done. And I hope that this does really set up movies going forward for Marvel to be the best possible connected movies. Because, hey, Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's been going on for over a decade for a reason, right? Why has the cinematic universe been so successful where other universes have just simply fallen apart? Well, I think it's really due to the studio overseeing everything, Kevin Feige, giving certain parameters in the movie. Now, within those parameters, I'm sure that the director does have a lot of freedom and choice to make the movie they want to, but has to be within certain parameters. Hey, make sure this happens in the movie, make sure that doesn't happen in the movie, but within that, now director, you can do what you need to do to make this movie. I think that's usually how it plays out for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But let me know in the comments below, are you concerned about these reshoots for Doctor Strange 2 just so closely to its release date? I mean, it's almost here. It's less than a couple weeks that we're getting this movie. So do you think this is any cause for concern? Or do you think, no, for a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, this makes sense? So let's have that discussion down below. So that will do it for another Mega Movie News Roundup episode. This was episode 19. If you missed out on a couple of the past week's movie news roundups, I'll definitely link those in the description below. Also, if you're just discovering the channel for the first time, make sure you subscribe right now. I'm going to get you movie news weekly, movie reviews, rankings, movie hauls, unboxings, you name it. We'll talk all things movies on this channel, and I don't want you to miss any of it. Make sure you turn on that notification bell so you don't miss when I post a video. Also, if everybody out there could share this video out to one person that you know really loves movies and that is very interested in movie news and that will watch this video all the way through, I would greatly appreciate it. That way we can build this mega league of film fans together on this channel.
Look, there has to be another way.
There isn't.
And like the video. And this is Mega Mike the Movie Man, minding you to make every day a movie day.